Hey guys, my name is Haley and today I'm going to be filming the Grinch Book Tag, which I saw like a couple days ago on Oshina's channel, but I know the original tag is by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, so I will link both their channels down below, and let's get started because I really like the questions to this. Question number 1 is, half the lights on the Christmas tree are burnt out. Name a series that started out really good but then went downhill. And for that, I am going to go with the Fifth Wave trilogy by Rick Yancey. I loved the Fifth Wave. Like, this was one of my favorite books of, I think it was last year when I started reading it. I loved this book so much. And then The Infinite Sea came out and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't like it that much. It was really sad. And I was so hopeful that we were going to get a good sequel to end the trilogy. And then I read this. And if you were around here on my channel when I read this, and I buddy read it with Oshina, we both kind of hated it. So it was so confusing and it was so disappointing because I loved this first book so much. It was so sad. Question number 2 is annoying great Aunt Sally who won't leave you alone. Name a book that you didn't enjoy but everyone else seems to love so it never goes away. And I don't own this because I didn't enjoy it. And that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I know everybody loves Sarah J. Maas and like says that her writing is phenomenal and like really enjoys her characters, and I don't even know. I haven't read Throne of Glass, so I can't say anything about that series. But I did read ACOTAR and I read ACOMAF. And I hated ACOTAR, and if I didn't know that so many people loved ACOMAF, there is no way that I would have read it, because I didn't like Farah, I didn't like Tamlin, I didn't like them together at all. Like, they were one of my biggest no TPs. But I did end up liking ACOMAF because I do like Reese, so I'm going to finish the trilogy. But whenever I see someone that, like, is reading ACOTAR for the first time and loves it, I'm like, did we read the same book? Because I just really did not enjoy. Question number 3 is, your pets keep knocking down the Christmas decorations. What's a character that kept messing things up for everyone else? It says specifically no villains. And for that, I'm gonna go with Adam from the Shatter Me trilogy, specifically in Unravel Me, because I was so sick of his crap in Unravel Me. Like, I didn't mind him in the first one. I wasn't like crazy obsessed with him, but by this book I was just like, I am not team anyone right now because Warner's crazy and Adam is just super overprotective and just clingy, and I couldn't do it. So definitely Adam in this one. Number 4 is, you hear your parents putting out the Christmas decorations and learn that Santa isn't real. Name a book that you were spoiled for. And I actually don't get spoiled that often with books. I don't know if it's just because I'm like super stickler about avoiding spoilers, and like I won't go into a video if I think there's gonna be spoilers or anything like that. But the only one I can think of is Beautiful Chaos by Cami Garcia, and actually, I got rid of it. I don't know what the other author's name is. Margaret Stoll, I think, which is the 3rd book in the Beautiful Creatures series. And I was spoiled for this a really long time ago because it was one of the first videos of Christine from Poland Bananas Books that I saw, like, probably 3 years ago. And I did read the first book of Beautiful Creatures and I didn't love it or anything, but I was going to continue with the series. And then I tried to read the 2nd book, but knowing who was going to die in the 3rd book, once I'd already read the first one and knew who he was, I was like, ugh, I don't know if I even care enough to go through that and like put myself through that. So I just got rid of the whole series and put it on my I'm not going to finish this. So yeah. Number 5 is, it's freezing outside. Name a character that you just couldn't connect with. I'm gonna go with Victor from Vicious, and I really liked him. I liked that he was sarcastic. I thought he was an interesting character, and I just liked his interest in the EOS. But then he would do something that was just, I was like, why in the world did you think that was a good idea? Like, why would you do that? So there were times that I did like him and sort of like saw where he was going with it, and there were definitely times that I was like, I would never do that. Like, how did you justify that to yourself? You're crazy. So definitely Victor. Also Eli, but I never really connected with Eli in the first place. But so we're gonna go with Victor. Number 6 is Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is giving you anti-romantic feelings. Name a couple that you couldn't stand. If you've been on my channel for any time at all in the last couple months, you know this. And that is Benny and Nyx from the Rotten Ruin series. I'm getting rid of this series because I could not stand their relationship or whatever it was in the first 4 books, even though I haven't read the novellas, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to change my mind. I don't like Nyx. I don't know what it is about her that drives me nuts, and I even like the redeeming qualities or whatever that happened in the 4th book, and then them explaining their relationship and why they got together and all that. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't like Nyx. I don't mind Benny, but he's not my favorite either, so having to like watch their love thing play out in the middle of this zombie apocalypse war, I was like, I am not buying this. Y'all are 16 and I don't like it. Please just focus on the zombies. So yeah, Benny and Nyx, definitely probably one of my most hated couples of all time. That scratchy homemade wool sweater that you got for Christmas years ago but don't have the heart to get rid of. Show some books that have been sitting on your shelves for a while but you just can't seem to get rid of them. Those for me are the Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funke. I loved Inkheart as a kid. Like, this was one of my favorite books of all time, and I've read it probably like 4 or 5 times at least. But I never got past like the middle of Inkspell. For some reason, I never got through it, and I haven't tried to read it in a couple of years, so since my reading tastes have changed and like increased. But I want to finish this trilogy so bad because I think the concept behind like the ink world is so interesting, and I do like the characters. And every time I go to get rid of books off my shelves to take to half-price books, I'm like, I could, but I don't want to get rid of that series yet until I at least try to read it one more time, so definitely these beautiful things. Number 8 is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Name a character death that you are still mad about. And it also says to warn for spoilers, so if you have not read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, wait till I put the book down. Spoilers ahead. If you have not read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. The character death in this, of all the character deaths that happen in this book, that upset me the most and I'm still upset about to this day, is Remus Lupin. I was so mad. I threw the book. I distinctly remember throwing the book across the room the first time I read it in the middle of the night it came out. Like, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. It was really late. And I chucked this book across the room. It hit the wall on the other side of the room, and I left it there for probably a good 10 minutes because I was ticked. I was so mad. For if you don't know, Lupin is my second favorite character only under Sirius. So to have literally all of my favorite characters killed off was just devastating to me, and I was so upset about it. Okay, spoilers over, but now I'm really mad. Number 9 is the malls are overcrowded with holiday shoppers. Name a series that has too many books. I'm gonna preface this by saying I love this series, and it's actually become one of my favorite series of all time, and it is on my list of favorite series that I've read this year. But I'm gonna go with the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, because as much as I love this series and as good of a series it is, and how much I love the characters and how well it was plotted, 12 books in any series is too many books. I've read all 12 of them. There's also like a prequel series and an epilogue book, and I was like, please stop. There's a bunch of spin-offs of this series by other authors too, and if you're gonna read this series, which I do highly recommend, do not read it in one go like I did. I read all of them over the course of like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and read like almost nothing else in between, and that's just not a good idea. As much as I love this world and these characters and this series, don't do that. Read them in small increments, maybe like 2 or 3 at a time, tops. And number 10 is The Grinch. Name a main character that you hate. Again, it also says, again, no villains. And I went with Clary Frey from City of Bones. I don't necessarily hate Clary, but I disagreed with the majority of what she did in this series, and she's the reason that this series is not my favorite of Cassandra Clare's, which is really sad because it is her longest. I haven't read Lady Midnight yet. I haven't read Tales from Shadowhunter Academy. But the characters that I didn't like in this, I didn't like Clary, I didn't like Simon, I didn't really even like Jace, so not liking really any of the main characters was probably a big part of why I didn't like this series that much. I thought it was good. I love Cassie Clare's writing style, and I like the plots behind these books. Like City of Glass is my favorite, with probably like City of Lost Souls and Heavenly Fire in second and third. But I just disagreed with almost everything Clary did, and I was really frustrated reading these a lot of the time. I do much prefer the Infernal Devices, so yeah, I went with Clary because she frustrated me so much in those books. But I don't hate her, and I do like her a lot more in the TV show adaptation. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I also really like her and Jace more in general in the TV shows, so again, unpopular opinion. But yeah, I thought Jace was kind of a jerk. I thought Clary kind of dragged him and Simon. There were so many issues I had with her character. So that was the Grinch book tag. Thank you all for watching. I'm not going to tag anybody just because it's only like a couple days before Christmas, but if you do want to do this tag, I tag you, and please do it because I think these are really interesting questions to hear things that people don't like. Thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time.